Grounded 2 is hiding a terrible secret, and in this video we are going to uncover the truth about this company-wide tragedy. There is a list of employees who are registered as on-site when you start Grounded 2. That's 17 staff on duty here when the evacuation was called. At first, the roster seems like filler in the story, but after some time in the park, it's clear that we are going to uncover something terrible. In this video, we are going to lean heavily on CatsAndCrossbows, a grounded community member who has done all the legwork in finding out whether this list of staff is the complete roster of people in the park on the 20th of October 1992. CatsAndCrossbows may have inadvertently uncovered Ominent's dark secret while revealing that we might not actually be in 1992. We try to understand why these staff members ended up where they were when they died. For example, why did these two die here? And why is this person here? So CatsAndCrossbows has done her research in numerical order, and we're going to do the same. It will also help us work through the departments using this method, as the departments also seem numerically linked. Let's first define the event that happened on the 20th of October. There was an explosion. The detonation site could be located on parts of the map that are still to be released. As this is currently early access, and coincidentally, it's October the 20th, 2025. However, we can assume that all employees were notified of the evacuation and headed to the onboarding facility. However, nobody seems to be actually wearing a Scabby 2K, except for this guy and this guy, so we don't know how they were contacted. So we can assume that all staff were traveling in that direction, so they could be enlarged, so made bigger, because we're small. Or whatever employees do when they actually leave this park, assuming they leave the park. 14 is a member of the Advanced Scouting Unit and is located under the Green Lantern outside of Axel's arena. If we look closer, you can see that 14 is buried. Now, this could be a way for the model to sit more naturally on this mound of dirt, or it could give us clues as to what happened to 14. Did Axel kill 14 and then half bury him in the dirt from his new burrow? Or was he killed by this praying mantis that lingers around here? Was 14 a member of a scouting party looking for Axel? I personally think that 14 was not killed by Axel, but was definitely up there looking for the tarantula. Do we think that Axel's terrarium was knocked over and abandoned during the presentation on the 20th? Let's take a look at the game's intro again. Can we see the terrarium? Yes, there it is. So there is a chance that Axel was freed during the explosion, but the terrarium could have also been there a while. The safest bet is that 14 was killed by something else as he tried to return to the ranger station here. Employee 33 died in the shoe here. It looks like he took shelter inside and either was caught unaware or crawled in here and succumbed to his injuries. Interestingly, 33 is from management. Why was he out here is a mystery. All I can think is that he was also on an evac route when he died. He could have also been a part of a group and was separated as he traveled west, which means he was somewhere east. He could have been with this unknown employee on the ice cream cart when he was injured and tried to go for help, but only to finally fall here. There is also the possibility that he traveled further, possibly from somewhere further east that is not yet available in this release. Another side note, in the intro, we can just make out the ice cream cart in the news report. It's tipped over. Was the unknown employee on the wheel when the explosion happened, or did he climb up there for some reason? Maybe he went up there to get a better look at the commotion before receiving the evac notification. My assumption is that 33 was already dying when he entered the shoe. His posture indicates that he made himself comfortable and then passed on. These next deaths are slightly odd and are unlikely to be the result of the incident on October 20th. Deep in the toxic ant nest, two colleagues tragically died mere meters from each other. Employee 119 of the Field Archives Department died here in the Cockroach Queen's chamber. That's a mouthful. Now, Field Archives is a very strange way of saying librarian, and this is an even stranger place for a librarian to die. This is 838. The numerical difference between two people in the same department is uncommon, but they are from the same department. So why are two librarians in the ant nest? Well, my theory is that they were secretly dating and were down here to do the nasty when the Queen turned up and killed them both. So Romeo and Juliet's life was cut short because they would not bunk up in the pods together, but instead decided to come down here in full PPE. Let's face it, there's nothing to archive down here. They were fucking. When CatsAndCrossbows said that employee 136 was under the amplifier, he wasn't under the amp, but under the amp. This poor guy didn't die during the evac. He was killed when the amp was placed on the ground. This guy signed in, made his way out to the field, and then was crushed when the roadie plopped the amp down on him right here. This guy didn't even see the presentation. He was already dead. Let that sink in. There were, or are, no protocols to ensure park staff safety. You just gotta hope for the best. How can you let an audio crew onto the lawn when you know that any one of your staff could be walking amongst the blades of grass? It's madness. What's even worse is that 136 worked in admin. Quite possibly the safest job in the park. From the absolute murder scene here, it looks like 142 fought to the bitter end. Most likely, 142 was skewered by this mosquito while battling something else. A spiderling or something. All in a day's work for a field researcher, I guess. Was she out here observing wildlife? Could it be that all the staff were converging on a rendezvous point to then move on to the onboarding facility, only to be caught as she crossed this body of water? It looks like she might have seen danger and turned to exit the water, but was too slow in waiting out. Either way, it looks like she fought to the death. May as well take her snack, because she's not going to be eating it. There is a blue bottle top located here. Inside is 201. It seems like 201 couldn't continue on. So he took shelter in this here bottle cap, rested his head on this here rock, and, well, died. Now, the villain in me wants to believe that this glove and this hat belonged to his beloved work wife, and he took it from her mutilated corpse. In the minutes thereafter, he cried himself into this position where he finally gave up and followed her into the afterlife. But it's probably from the teammate that tried to administer first aid on him. At the most northwest of the map is the dead spider anthill, and you will find 210 and 211 here. One is in a small chamber before the box with the bat skeleton in it. The other one is close to the north entrance. Employees 210 and 211 were members of the Echo Exploration Team, so it does make sense for them to be down here. From the position of each person, you can surmise that both were trying to place a wall to their back to make a last stand. Again, I'm struggling to deal with the lack of safety protocols with Ominent. If these two entered this anthill as a pair, surely they would have had some sort of deterrent for the soldier ants. Why are none of these employees armed? Surely an expedition team entering an ant nest would primarily focus on the ability to defend against an attack. 210 looks like he was in a hell of a fight in his final moments. He had a torch, so he knew how to craft items like we do. We can see how he died. The ant parts sticking out of his bodies are indicators that he bled out. The leg in his chest might have even pierced his heart. The goop next to him indicates that he got a kill, or at least grievously wounded a soldier ant. 210 died facing his opponent. He died a warrior's death. Till Valhalla, buddy. 211 stood with his back to a rock. While there are no visible wounds like 210, it looks like 211 might have been injured enough to fall and curl into the fetal position where he finally died. They were a long way out with little chance of rescue. 284 left us under the bench to the north of the fire pit. Now, I have these opposing theories about this whole game because of this corpse model. So my first theory is that we are, in fact, waking up in the park in the summer of 1993. This is because of the lack of flesh on this corpse, the discoloration of the skull, and the state of his uniform. This guy has been here for some time. Also, the sun is shining and we're running around in shorts and t-shirts. It's normally starting to get very cold in late October, early November in Brook Hollow, Texas. In fact, November temps are below 10 Celsius or 46 Fahrenheit. My second theory is that it was important for Grounded 2 to keep a family-friendly rating, so dead humans would prevent that. So they went for a skeleton instead. So the look of this corpse does not reflect decay over time, but it's a visualization of death. So this person is dead because they are a skeleton. I did have to kill a spider to reach 284, so I'm not sure if this goop is from the dead spider or whether he killed something before being killed himself. 284 was a member of the Domestication Project. It is unsure whether the program delved into other species, but I'm pretty sure that the Domestication Project dealt with ants. This means that 284 was a long way from his office in the southern anthill. There was also a lot of suspicious behavior within the Domestication Project, which we will look at later. Either way, it looks like he became a snack for a family of orb weavers. Back at the ice cream cart, employee 331 can be found propped up against some strawberry ice cream. It looks like he had tried to light a fire with some oversized matches. From the charcoaling, we can guess that he failed. Did he freeze to death? Most likely, but there is also the chance that he tried to build a fire as he slowly died from scorpion poisoning. 331 was a member of the Aquatic Life Management. Yet, we don't know what he's here for. He has this key though, so we can surmise that he was a part of a team sent to retrieve the contents of a chest. This could explain why 33 was in the shoe to the west. Maybe 33 was the last member of this team that was in the cart. Maybe something happened within the cart that sent the team running in different directions. That is why 331 is here. The unknown employee is on the wheel hub. And to further this theory, employee 340 is also located in the cart. Also a member of Aquatic Life Management, 340 seems to have frozen to death. His posture is stiff, which indicates death in sub-zero temperatures. Again, I'm stuck with a split theory of whether we are seeing this as it's just a game mentality from the developers, or these employees were killed in the toppling of the cart on the 20th of October. Employee 331 survived after the cart went sideways because he built a fire. For now, let's say this team was injured or insta-killed from the toppling of the cart. Why were they here? We still have many updates and patches to come. Maybe more will be revealed as we get access to other parts of the map. Employee 359 was most definitely trying to get to the onboarding facility, and he was so close. But it seems like he had to climb the snack bar step to evade something, possibly the orc scorpion under here. It's located in this tunnel. He took shelter in this ice caps container where he succumbed to his injuries. Again, his body language definitely shows that he was looking for a place to defend himself. He's in the corner of the container. Either he was resting after combat, or he was looking for a place to shelter after being mortally wounded. The corner not only offered a resting place, it forced any attacker into only one avenue of approach. 359 was a member of the Echo Exploration Team. He could have received the call to extract and headed to the form-up point. Here, under the step or porch or whatever we want to call this, 359 was ambushed by the Orc Scorpion and made his way up to this container. He took this blind corner so he wouldn't be seen from the knife. 359 was so close. But even closer was employee 426. This is the first dead employee that you find in game. She is located within 20 meters of the snack bar ranger outpost. It seems like this employee held multiple positions in Ominent. Primarily, she was a member of the domestication program, but she was also a part of some strike team tasked with figuring out techniques for taming creatures. This second position seems to have caused a bit of work conflict with our next victim. It seems that 426 was trying to delay the testing of 427's hatchery design. Let's take a listen.
That figured out the hatchery design, but won't share it with us. They want all the credit for themselves. Their design is useless without a red soldier and egg, and we have those safe here. I hope things calm down and we can work this out. We all want the same thing, to ride around on a bug.
427 left us a voice message that sets the tone for how childishly competitive the strike teams had become.
Listen, I am dead tired. I'm dead tired of credit being taken for my work. Backstabbers in the taming program. It's like they don't even care if we succeed in riding insects. They're hiding the eggs till they can steal my hatchery design. Oh, I know it. Well, I can hide my work too. Nobody would think to look here.
Her tone describes her feeling of isolation. We find 427 in a chamber within the snack bar anthill. She is also a member of the domestication program. Interestingly, it looks like she often worked down here. So 427 obviously had a working relationship with the ants. This could indicate that her death was from something invading the colony and killing her, but it could have also been a soldier ant. She died having never tested her hatchery design because a jealous woman refused to cooperate. I'm going to make a full video on what we know about the strike teams and the rivalry between 426 and 427. Check down in the descriptions to see if it's done. Employee 430 can be found dead having tried to crawl into the sour wormhole container in the southwest hedge line. Is close to the garden bed. He was a member of the garden research department and was likely heading for the onboarding facility when he was attacked by this wolf spider. While the trek down to the ranger station and beyond is fraught with dangerous creatures, I feel like this was an unlucky meeting rather than an orchestrated attack. The timeline on this next location is a little whiffy. The picnic bench. If you step back and take a look at the picnic table, what do you see? A tablecloth that has slipped, wine bottles and other things on the floor around the table, an open cooler? We can definitely say that the people having this picnic left in a hurry. So we can maybe reset our idea on the evacuation timeline. We can safely say that the evac took days, possibly even seeing rescue teams of survivors heading back into the park to find missing friends. It could be that some of these deaths that we have been looking at happened when employees went back into the park looking for friends. What makes me say this? There are dead staff members on this abandoned table. This means that Ominent employees were active after the blast, because small people couldn't have been wandering around a table being used by the public, could they? It's meant to be a secret, but employee 477 died inside this empty wine bottle, which is a little tragic because 477 was a combat training expert. He lived and died by the McDojo lifestyle, it seems. He has a scabby 2K on his wrist, which makes him the first employee with one. Again, it puzzles me why this combat expert doesn't have a weapon. It seems like he tried to escape something and finally succumbed to his injuries inside this wine bottle. There were a lot of orc bugs up here, so maybe my theory on a rescue party is valid. Maybe he was separated from the search party and was mortally wounded when the party came upon the newly installed transmitter and found purple-eyed bugs trying to murder them. I think 502 was also a part of this search party. It looks like she was killed on the retreat from the picnic table, or This member of the Raw Science Division fell to her death during the commotion above. So who do we think they were looking for? They were trying to either rescue or recover 612 from field research. It is possible that he found himself trapped on the bench seat and couldn't get down. After being cornered, it is likely that 612 sought shelter in the cooler but died from the cold or was killed by a bug inside the cooler. He could have been trapped up here for days or even weeks. We have to start treating this not as a single evac on the 20th, but many further incidents that could have happened afterwards. We can see the picnic incident as either a team entering the picnic table to check out the AUK transmitter or a bunch of concerned staff looking for their teammate. Either way, it was a massacre. Employee 651 could have been looking for our Romeo and Juliet, as he died at the entrance to the toxic anthill. We can see that he is leaving the tunnel, which indicates that something was chasing him out. Maybe it was the cockroach queen. Again, guys, I can't shake this feeling that we are not in 1992, and that many of these events have been happening over a period of weeks rather than hours. 713 was south of the trash can when he died. He seemed to have rested against this quarter and then just passed away. He could have been ambushed by the praying mantis that is located close by. However, there is a goop splatter, so he definitely got a few hits in on something. Even more sad are the pair of shoes next to him. It looks like his teammate was completely consumed. 713 was a member of field research, so it looks like he died doing what he loved. 791 of the domestication program died at the entrance to this tunnel located east of the snack bar. It looks like 791 might have attempted to build a shelter out of these grass planks, but it was destroyed in the attack. I wonder how long it takes for a green grass plank to dry out. Could be more evidence that we're months past the October 20th incident. I ended up having to ask CatsAndCrossbows where employee 810 was located, as I was unable to find him. But 810 of lab maintenance died next to the glass dome of the onboarding facility. He was crushed by this random piece of pipe that doesn't seem to belong anywhere around here. Okay, maybe here. How this pipe got here and suddenly fell on 810 is a mystery. This could be foul play. Employee 867 is found on the podium. He is resting on the blue notepad and could have fallen through the hole in the top. There is a chance that 867 was with employee 514, as his number has been written on a piece of paper above us. But I think that he was, once again, a part of a rescue and recovery team sent out later in the evac period. And that is all the identifiable dead employees on the attendance sheet. So what about all the other numbers on these lists? Well, there are 4 unnamed bodies in the park. There is this guy on the cartwheel that we mentioned earlier. This guy is probably a member of the aquatic life management. 2 staff fell in the fire pit. What they were doing there is beyond me. This one could have died from anything, but this guy definitely died from burns or heat. It was so hot that I couldn't even run down there and get a close-up. This was the best that I could do with the armor I was wearing. And finally, the one in the network center or statue. This still leaves a lot of staff unaccounted for, but I don't want to make any assumptions about them, as we might find them as we receive more updates. The thing is, there are so many more staff in the park than are on the sign-in sheet. There are 20 plus confirmed deceased. There are only 17 sign-ins on the 20th. But if you add the numbered correspondences, the meeting minutes, and other collected intel that confirms attendance on the day, it offers a possible 40 staff in the park, give or take. So, of the 40 staff that we believe were in the park on the 20th, around 27 are dead and 12 are missing. If we assume that all missing members will be found dead in the coming update, that makes 1 person alive. This is a quick assessment. Obviously, this could be over-exaggerated. For example, I could have counted employee 189 who was on sick leave from a tiger attack. That's 39 out of 40 employees dead. This doesn't include 555. You can watch that video at the end of this one. The list of the missing is also in the description below. There is one theme that is slowly being revealed as we look closer at the October 20th event. There is a high possibility that no one made it out of the park after the explosion. Basically, the evacuation was a complete disaster. I also have a feeling that Sloane Beaumont is still in the park. Whether she is trapped or here under her own volition is something we'll soon uncover. So Ominent's dark secret is that no one made it out. And signs point to days or weeks of rescue operations that ended in the whole workforce either missing or dead. Add to this the fact that it's summer, you are walking around in shorts, and every dead body is a skeleton, and my theory that we're waking up months later has a pretty solid foundation. But this summer theory can also be debunked by Sloane's dialogue in the early game where she says, "We have just been massacred by an army." But you can't look past the picnic table and the ice cream cart timeline without giving the side eye to Obsidian. I mean, why else would aquatic life guys be snooping around the cart unless they're preparing for the cart to melt into a man-made lake? Sloane does admit that the evac was botched. Now, whether she's talking about the missing staff member, which is employee 427 in the snack bar anthill, or whether that statement encompasses the whole workforce is not clear. A big shout out to Cats and Crossbows for finding all the deceased. I don't think I could have been this diligent. So I have to say that without her work here, this video would have probably missed most of the other dead employees. So thank you, Cats, for your dedication and drive to find the truth. I have a feeling we'll be relying on Cats and Crossbows in the future. If you like this video, you'll probably like this one.